Welcome back to the Elise Surkoff podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking all about goal setting. So, if you are listening to this podcast, this episode in real time, meaning it is December 2024, then you are getting ready for New Year's yet again with your New Year's resolution. And if you're listening to this any other time of the year, it's going to also resonate because, bottom line, when you decide to make a change, you can do that any single day. So let's go back, I don't know, 20 something years when I was working in downtown Toronto in corporate fitness and wellness. And it was probably December 30th or 31st. And I was walking home at the time, about to get on the subway. And there were cameras there that were interviewing people about New Year's resolution. And so they asked me, hey, can we interview you for a second? We want to ask you some questions. And I was like, sure. And they're like, hey, what's your New Year's resolution? And I said point blank to the camera, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in goal setting. And if you want to make a goal and stick to it, why wait for New Year's? Do it any day. And they were literally like, cut, thanks so much, crazy lady, and find the next person. But I want to start off this episode by saying that you don't need to wait until January 1st to make a change. However, in the spirit of New Year's resolutions, I think that there is something super magical about taking some time this time of year to self-reflect and say, what do I want for myself in the new year? I know I do this with my team as well at FFWE, where I say, hey, I want you to tell me a little bit about where you'd like to go in the company and with, our clients and the team in 2025. Tell me what your goals are. I have goals for FFWE, for our programs, for our clients. My goal of 2024 was to start this podcast. So I'm all about setting goals. However, I think what gets to be really tricky with people is we set goals that we have tried before. And this time we're like, no, it's going to be different. And then when we don't hit it, we feel shamed, we feel embarrassed, and we feel like a complete failure. So the most common New Year's resolutions will and for always be losing weight and quitting smoking. And I remember when I worked in corporate fitness and wellness, these were big topics that we always talked about: how to quit smoking, how to lose weight. And the truth of the matter is, you really have to be ready. So you can't just say, because it's January 1st, I need. People who are smokers and been smoking decades and decades know that they should and quote unquote need to stop. But it's not until they are truly ready to. So if someone is a smoker and they're like, I know this isn't good for me, and it's aging me and it's killing my lungs and I can't breathe and I'm at risk for, lung infection and diseases and cancers, that might not be enough. They might have to get to the point where they are scared straight. They do have health concerns that have come up, and then like that, they're ready to make change. So why is it so hard when we want to lose weight? Well, I think what happens is we're coming off the holidays and December feels like a fucking shit show of fuck it's, right? It's just like a constant fuck. Well, there was a holiday party. We started in November. We're just going to keep it. Fuck it. You know what? I'll just start in January. Or, you know what? It's the week of Christmas and there's so many holiday parties and I'm having my favorites. Fuck it. You know what? I'll just start January. So I think there's a lot to be said about December being a little bit, for lack of a better word, messy, that puts us into that goal setting frame mind for January. So if you fall into that category and you're thinking, how can I make change? Or if you're listening to this at another further date, this is going to really help you set goals that you can achieve. So first, I like to think about and familiarize you with common pitfalls. What do most people do that makes it so that they set themselves up for failure? And I think it's just the blanket statement: I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to start treating myself better. I'm going to start prioritizing myself. I'm going to start thinking of myself first. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Okay. Prioritizing yourself. What does that mean? Does that mean feeding yourself before your kids? Does that mean getting up early and doing a workout? Does that mean saying yes to yourself and no to others? What does it mean to prioritize yourself? And it's the same thing as like, I got to lose weight. What does that mean? How much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? So a lot of people will say, I got to take off these 20 pounds I gained in COVID. I've never been able to lose them. Here they are. Got to get it off, 20 pounds done. Okay. So let's use the 20-pound weight loss, for example, as your goal. So let's say you're like, I want to lose 20 pounds. Your goal is like, I want to lose 20 pounds. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to follow this meal plan. I'm going to download this app. I'm going to buy a Peloton. I'm going to get active. and you don't know what to do because that's not actually a strategy and there's no timeline with feedback that's associated with it. This is where coaching becomes so powerful, because in coaching you get feedback automatically built in. Hey, you're on the right track or you're not on the right track. So imagine if Jan 1, you sat down and you're like, all right, my 20-pound weight loss journey starts today. How do you know that you're on the right trajectory? So what I like to tell our clients and anyone who's setting goals that are really super specific when it comes to weight loss, and by the way, they should be specific, is you want to kind of take the urgency out. And I say this all the time on social. I say this when I'm on discovery calls with people interested in the program. I say, give yourself a year to make a change. Okay. Give yourself a year, whether you work with me, another coach, another program, or you're doing it on your own. Give yourself a year. But Elise, I don't have a year, but it's my wedding, but it's my vacation, but I need to lose it faster. I don't care. And the truth of the matter is, you're older now, your body's different now, and your habits are more dialed in to what's not serving you than what's serving you. So you're going to have to make changes to your lifestyle, to your habits, and to everyone around you. Guess how hard it is to stop drinking or to start prioritizing yourself when everyone around you isn't? That's when it gets really hard. Guess how hard it is when life happens and I don't know, you lose your job, your partner leaves you, you find out someone's sick, your parent dies, something like that comes up. Then what? You fall, quote unquote, off track. So what the first thing I want you to do is release the fucking urgency. Okay. So let's take the 20-pound example, weight loss. So if you say to me, but I want to lose 20 pounds quickly, I'd be like, cool. You can lose 20 pounds in 3 months, no problem. I can give you that. I can get that for you. However, at the end of this year, you're going to be 10 pounds heavier than you are now. So you will have gained back those 20 plus 10. Is that what you want? Or by the end of the year, do you want to be down 20 that you're never going to see again? We're here to play the long game. I'm really sorry if you don't want to hear this, but I'm telling you the truth that others just aren't. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. There is no magic wand when it comes to this. It's going to take time because you didn't just put on 20 pounds in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, even though you might think that you blinked and put this weight on. It was gradually, suddenly. So you need to remember that to undo it is going to take longer than it did to do it. The other reason why I like giving it a year is that we can really measure trajectory with proper feedback. Okay. So if your goal is to lose 20 pounds in 3 months and we extend that to a year, then I can say in 6 months, you should be at that 10-pound down loss, which means in 3 months, you should be at about 5 pounds down, whatever that is. Okay. So if in 3 months you're like, fuck, I'm not down 5 pounds because life got lifey. I didn't have the right strategies. I got too tempted. I realized my habits need to be dialed in. Then you now have the next 3 months to say, what can I change so that I'm not repeating the same 3 months because that didn't work? And then you can say, all right, you know what? I realize I need to join a gym. I need to hire a trainer. I need to hire a coach, or I need to have better strategy. I need to have a better support system. I need to blank. Okay. Now you have 3 more months at that 6-month mark. Now maybe you're down 5 pounds and now you're like, okay, I get it now, but I want to accelerate it. So now you can turn the dial up or you can turn the dial down. All right. And the other thing is that if you don't have that constant feedback, you don't really know not only how your trajectory is going, but how to get better, because we don't just start losing weight and then stop. We are constantly progressing. The growth never ends. What it's going to take you to lose 5 pounds is going to be phase 1, but to lose 10 pounds is going to be phase 2. To lose 15 pounds will be phase 3. Why? You might be thinking, well, I just keep going. But at some point, what you're doing stops working and you need to do a little bit more. So I like to use this analogy. Let's say you're learning how to play the guitar and you've learned, 3 chords and you're doing really well. And then you're like, all right, I'm ready to play a song. So you're going to pick a song that maybe has 3 chords to it and it's super easy to play. And then you do it and you're like, I'm playing a song. And you don't just go join a band. right? You don't just go play off of open mic night and start strumming that guitar. You've got to figure out more chords, more songs, so that eventually you can get to the point where you are putting it all together. Another example I like to give people is a lot of women will look at me and they'll come into the program. They'll say one of two things. They'll either say, I want to look exactly like you, or I want to look nothing like you. It depends on if you like the look of muscles on women, which, by the way, you probably do if you're here. But a lot of women will look at me and say, I want to look like you, want to have your body. And I'm like, that is really flattering, but it also is a little insulting because it didn't take me 3 months to get here. It didn't take me a year to get here. It took me decades of dialing in habits and having feedback of how those habits are, and then consistently getting better at it. All right. So I always say, like, my growth is my jam. I'm really good at getting better, but it's going to take progression. So where I am today is a little bit more than where I was a year ago today. So we don't want to compare our year 1 with someone else's year 5 or year 10. And I think that is the other big mistake a lot of people do, is they're looking at their neighbor, their cousin, Susan, Karen down the street, who's dropped, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds doing some diet or something. And then now they're comparing themselves against that, saying, well, I don't know what's wrong with me. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they're doing, and you don't know their trajectory because you're not responsible for their feedback. Okay. So going back to that goal, you want to make sure that you have enough time where you can splice it in half and then half again and say, am I on the right trajectory? Because throwing that blanket statement of, I am just going to lose weight, I promise you, you will be setting yourself up for failure. And then the problem is that come February, March, you feel like a complete failure. You come to me and say, I did it again. I can't do this. Weight loss doesn't work for me. Nothing I do works. Womp, womp, womp. When in reality, you just didn't set yourself up for the proper trajectory and the reality of releasing the urgency. If you can release the urgency, I promise you, you're going to be successful. When I look at my own goals and where I want my physique to be, not just my physique, but my habits, because I say this all the time, it took me 4 fucking years to stop eating like an asshole on the weekends. 4 years it took me to dial in that habit. I don't do that anymore. That took me 4 years of practicing, of feedback, of saying, okay, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more to get to where I am today. So don't just throw blanket statements out there and think that when it fails that, you're a hopeless case, because you're not. Now, if you really want to set yourself up for success, you're going to think back to what didn't work before. So maybe last year you tried it. Think back to like what worked. And chances are what worked was this word I hate and love at the same time, which is called motivation. You were likely motivated on January 1st because you ate your fucking face off. So you weren't even that hungry. You were like, I don't want to eat any more shit. I'm good. I don't need it. I don't need to drink anymore. I'm going dry January. And you probably spent a lot of money in December. So you're like, I can't afford to do anything really exciting, like go out with my friends or go on trips. So I'm not going to do anything. And it's January. Maybe it's butt fuck winter. And so there's nowhere to go except the hockey rink, like me. And so it's easy to be motivated when you've got no temptations and no special occasions that are happening around you or life being lifey. But then what happened? February hit, March hit, then what? Well, then we started going out. Well, then my husband started, I don't know, bringing home the popcorners again. Well, then we started going out for tacos and tequila on Tuesdays. Well, we went on this wonderful trip and I gained a lot of weight and I never took it back. So there's always going to be something that's going to come up. So you have to ask yourself, what made me quote unquote successful? If it's motivation, I'm going to tell you right now, and I know you hate hearing this, but you're going to fail because motivation is fleeting. It's maybe 14, 21 days max. And then that's it. It tanks. And the first thing I tell clients when they come into our program is there's going to be at least one, if not multiple times that you will want to quit. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I know you're excited and you're happy and you're motivated. And I fucking love that for you. But let me burst your bubble. You're going to want to quit. It's going to feel like you can't do this because when motivation fades and it's gone, there's nothing left except for action. That's all you have. And guess what? I don't want to do it becomes your staple. I don't want to get up and go to the gym. It's dark. It's snowed. I don't want to meal prep. It takes too much time. I don't want to count my macros. It feels obsessive. I don't want to weigh myself all the time. I feel like I'm just getting obsessed with the number. I don't want is what becomes your new motto. And that's just not enough to get you to your goal. So you think, I failed again. So start thinking about what didn't work last time so that you can avoid that. And if it's like, hey, as soon as motivation fades, that's it. So what do you need to be accountable? This is again why coaching is so popular. You got skin in the game. You've invested in yourself. You have someone who's in your corner. I know for me, my coach, he fucking shines a mirror right in my face where he will say to me like, hey, we can go as fast or as slow as you want. But the moment that you start going into the peanut butter jar release, you're fucking it up and you're setting yourself back. So it's up to you. And I'm like, holy shit, that is a mirror for me. All right. Again, nobody's perfect. It's about practicing the reps, getting better every time. So maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need an accountability buddy. But just remember, your accountability buddy has to be one level above you. He or she cannot be at the same level because you're just going to keep talking each other out of it. If you're trying to get to the gym and build muscle with someone who's new to the gym and is easily going to be like, yeah, you know what, let's just skip the workout today. It's cold out or it's dark out or I'm tired or I don't feel good. You're going to get nowhere. But if you level up with with a person who's a little bit ahead of you, they're going to be like, so go to the gym. Like when my clients will come to me and say, what do you think I should do? I'm just really tired and like, I'm so stressed out. Should I skip my workout? I'm like, fuck no. Why would you skip your workout? Do you skip brushing your teeth? Can you modify your workout? And they're like, oh yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say that. And like, they're coming to me because they know I'm going to give them the answer that their friends or their other buddies aren't going to give them because I'm invested in getting them their goal. So to put a little bow on this, remember when it comes to goal setting, and you can do this any time of year, make sure that you release the urgency and you play the long game so you have those levels of feedback ready so you can pivot and change in real time. So by the end of the year, by the end of the 6 months, you know exactly where you need to be. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me and FFWE and how we can help you reach your goal either on Instagram, Facebook at Functionally Fit with Elise or on my website, functionallyfitwithelise.com. I got a ton of freebies on there that can help get you started for free. Go grab them. And as a reminder, the information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.